Hello. If others talk about you behind your back, should you really worry about it? Krishna says that you must worry about it. If you want to know the answer, let's figure out in which verse and why he says so. Let me share by bringing up the slides for this week's session and we will get the answers. Until last week, we have been looking at how Krishna was explaining about the difference between the body and the soul, and he put forth various arguments to justify his point that soul is indestructible. Soul is soul lives forever. There is no birth, there is no death, and there is no weapon that is invented to destroy that soul. And that soul is very hard for any human to understand the existence of it. It is not that easy. He explained everything. Now, in that series, there is one more shloka that is left, which also talks about the greatness of our soul. And with that shloka, he takes entirely different route where he is going to explain to us the practicality of living. Atma is all good, we understand it, but how can we apply that knowledge in our everyday life? That is one question. And the other question is practicality. While we are living in this world, how can we use that knowledge? And what is important? Right? So that is what Krishna is going to discuss in the next few verses. And he answers very interesting questions posed by Arjuna. Let's see all of them, starting with verse number 30. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. Dehi refers to Atman. Deha refers to body. The Dehi, which is the Atman that resides inside this body, is Avadyoham, which means that Avadyoyam, which means that it cannot be destroyed. Again, he restates that point, right? And now he adds one more point here where he says Sarvasya, which means for everyone, not just for one body or one soul here and there. Sarva Bhutani. So if you look at it, Sarvani Bhutani, which means that all living beings. Why would he mention that point? Well, he had already mentioned that every human being has got a body and a soul, and the soul is entirely different than the body. He gave entire explanation saying that body is impermanent, whereas soul is permanent. It always exists. He told everything. So why is this verse? What is the significance of it? In this verse, he says that this is true for all living entities, not just for one. And why would he mention that? So Arjuna might have asked. Arjuna didn't ask, but we should pretend that Krishna is presuming if Arjuna gets the question that what if Bhishma's Atma is different than Drona's Atma. Will there be anything like that? Because in this world we see that the physical body is not one and the same. I have a different body, Others have a different body. And my interests, tastes, likes, dislikes are different than others. And we observe it. We have a variation in this physical body. So likewise, is there any variation in Atma exists where few of the living beings will have different Atma, few other living beings will be entirely different, and their behavior may be potentially different. For example, what if Bhishma's Atma or Drona's Atma is not permanent? And whatever the Atmas that you have been describing, Krishna, they are permanent and Bhishma's Atma is not permanent. Is there any such thing? To remove all those doubts from Arjuna's mind, Krishna here says that Sarvani Bhutani, for all living beings, this is the case. He puts a full stop, saying that don't have to worry about it. This is true for everyone who is living in this world. Whoever who is breathing, whoever is moving, anything that is moving, that has a body and an Atma, and for that Atma is permanent, always exists. So you don't have to Natvam shochitumarhasi. Natvam sochit. This gets repeated if you had observed in the last previous verses also. Natvam shochitumarhasi. Na, do not. Tvam, you. Do not worry about this. Do not. It's not fit to be mourned about. Fit to be grieved for. Right? This gets repeated. And why he is placing arguments, different arguments, why this should not be worried about. Now at this point, he takes, from now on, he takes a slightly different approach to his advice. A great teacher is one who looks at a problem from multiple angles, dimensions, right? It's not just I know a point, so I will just treat that point and then I will repeatedly say that point only. I don't care about others' viewpoints. That is not the quality of a teacher, great teacher, right? Krishna, we know that he is the Jagat Guru, right? So he is teacher of teachers. He knows it very well. Now he is looking from a different perspective. Perspectives can be different, definitely. So let's see the next shloka and then see how he changes the perspective. Swadharmamapi chavekshya na vikampitumarhasi dharmyadhiyuddha shreyonnat kshatriyasya na vidyate. He says that now a little bit slightly differently. Arjuna, I have explained to you very well about the body and the soul, the difference between that. If you are a person who still believes not that much about the existence of soul or the birthlessness, deathlessness properties of the soul, and if you are worried only about this physical body, then for this physical body on this earth, you have something called Swadharma. Swadharma is your every individual's duty on this earth. And I'm sure that on this earth, your body is born as a warrior. And so you have certain duties associated with it. And if you are a person who believe in that bodily existence, and you have your own duties, and so what is the duty of a warrior? The duty of a warrior is to protect his people. How will he protect it? How will he protect his people if he runs away, saying that he will not be in this war? And that is the reason that you may have to stay in this battle. So he says that Swadharmam. Swadharmam is your individual dharma, duty. Apicha avekshya. If you look at it, if you look at your swadharmam navikampitum arhasi. You don't have to falter about it, because dharmyadhi yuddha shreyonyat. Dharmyadhi, for upholding dharma, for upholding your duty. Yuddha shreyonyat. Yuddha shreya anyat. Anyat is other than. Shreya is better than. Better than anything else. Yuddha. In order to stay in this battle, I do not see anything. There is nothing. Navidhyate. There is none else that exists. Even if you go with just upholding the dharma, believing that you are just a bodily existence, we have our duty to do, and your duty is to fight in this battle. And so go ahead and then do this job. You don't have to think about higher concepts like soul or the existence, birthlessness, deathlessness. Let's get down one level and look from the perspective of a bodily existence. So what we learn from this, that Krishna has given this advice to Arjuna, what we learn from this is, on this earth when we are living, whether we worry about soul or not, that is the next level. Not all will be able to appreciate the soul inside our body, right? But we all exist and we see this physical body as the truth. Everyone will accept it. Soul, very few will accept it. So now Krishna is talking from that perspective. What is the right thing to do when you look at body as? Everyone will have dharma, swadharma. Police officer has got his own duty to do. A person who is working as a nurse in an hospital, she or he has some duty to deliver. Right? Everyone, not specifically based on occupation. Of course, every occupation carries its own duty, number one, but not necessarily based on occupation. We are fathers, we are mothers, we are brothers, we are sisters, we are grandfather, grandmother, granddaughter, grandson. Everyone, we have some duty to do. That is what he is now stressing here. On this earth, when you look at only with this physical body, I am a father, I am a son, I am a brother. Because remember that relationships happen only through this bodily relationship, right? There's nothing to do with Atma. Atma is beyond any relations. Now once you look at from that aspect, what we learn is that we will have to at least follow some dharma. What is my duty? Now, what is that duty? It's a question, right? I'm in this profession or that profession. For example, if I'm a business person, what is my duty as a business person? Simple example, right? We don't have to go into the details, but I'll give you an example we can relate to that. The duty of a business person is to make sure that goods are delivered to the customers with quality that is promised. Price wise, it is not overly hyped up. They are all adharma, right? Adharmic practice starts from there. And when I say one thing and do another thing, how do I maintain my financial accounting? We hear a lot of things about malpractices and internal juggling of numbers, right? They are all not the proper duty of a businessman, one who is engaged in the profession of doing business. Now, what are the duties of let's say, a nurse, right? To make sure that if you think of a nurse, what is that? The first thing strikes your mind, the compassion, right? That is the one thing that is fundamental to any nurse, because a nurse is a caregiver. And so patients can heal very well if a nurse provides as much care and attention to that patients that he or she is working with, not just as a client, but as a, a duty, right? I am involved in this, and so I will have to do it. That is the duty we are saying. Then the society will operate very well. Right? Otherwise, society, just think about it, every profession that has been listed down here, if they start practicing dharmic principles, unrighteousness, I'm not that much worried about it, do bungling. Right? I was in Bangalore for a few years, so I learned that word. They often use it. Solpa adjust madi. That is the very crux of reducing from the state of being dharmic. All right? Solpa adjust madi in everywhere. Compromise, right? In not delivering the expected quality or expected behavior or expected goods, anything you can think of it. And so if you look at it, how we can relate to this shloka, I am a father, I am a brother, right? And I have my own responsibilities towards that. And what is that I should do? I have some list, and I can always relate, and every instant I can say for sure, if I say something or do something, I'm doing it as per my conscience or not. If I go against the conscience, I know for sure that I'm not living the life of a dharmic person. Right there, everyone knows it. If you look at it, we don't need any shastras or Vedas. If you frankly just listen to yourself with a hand on your heart, everyone will know the answer, whether with whom I'm doing the right practices of dharma or not. Am I practicing dharma or not? Everyone can answer that question, frankly. Right? So that is what he's saying here. Let's see, next few shlokas have got even more interesting information. Yadrichaya chopapannam swargadwaramapavritam sukhinah kshatriyah partha labhante yuddhamidrisham. Now Krishna in this says that Arjuna, luckily for you, without you asking, you being a warrior, this war has come to you. What that means is, if you participate in this war truly, then the doors of heavens are already open for you. Because if you die, straight go to the heaven. You are doing your duty and you died while you are delivering your duty. And how many people will get it? Only the lucky warriors get this kind of opportunity. Why are you backing out? This is what he's saying. So now what we should take from this, right? That is what we are interested in. Arjuna's thing is, as a warrior, if he engages in that battle, he will get to heaven because he is performing his duty. So what we relate from this shloka is that if we live our life the righteous way, as per dharma, and I already mentioned what is dharma. Put your hand on your heart and ask at any point of time. We all will get the answer right inside us. The conscience cannot lie with respect to anything. It's a witness consciousness, right? It's been observing what we are doing, what we say, what we think, whether they are aligned, words are aligning with actions or thoughts. Everyone has the answer here. And if we live by that, then Krishna says that Swargadwaram apavritam. Swargadwaram, The doors of Swargadwaram is the doors of heaven. Apavritam, wide open. It welcomes us in. Right? So one more thing that we can learn from this shloka is, if we are interested that after death, this I must go to heaven, right? That's what a bodily perspective is. A person who is living without any thought about Atma, all he thinks about is, I wanted to live in this world with a lot of money, fame, and when I die, I should go to heaven, right? That is how, now from that perspective, Krishna is providing the points here. If you are interested in going to the heaven right now, is there a good opportunity for you, Arjuna? And rather, what you have been thinking is, you will get this papam, you will get that papam, I will incur this. In the previous slokas, if you observed, where Arjuna was talking to Krishna in the first chapter, he was telling Krishna that if I do this, if I take the lives of all these people who are standing in front of me, I will incur sin, and I will mitra droham, right? All those things, acharya droham. He was listing down everything. Krishna now says that nothing like that. This is the rarest opportunity, uninvited, uncalled for, unsought for. You have got it. When you engage yourself, you will go to. So every one of us has got that opportunity while we are working for an organization, or while we are engaged in our at home or with friends. Or the one and only the question that we will have to ask ourselves in every engagement is this: am I being truthful? Dharma is nothing but truth, right? Am I being truthful? Any false behavior or any made up behavior is not dharma, right? That is the one and only question we'll have to ask if you are interested in heaven. Heaven can be not necessarily that heaven, but heaven can be right here, right? If we wanted to live a happy life, that is what it means. We can think of it as heaven as happy life here. Just that we need to associate those words, then we can interpret that correctly. So in order to get an happy life on earth, do your duty is the message, to take home message from this shloka. All right, so now let's move on to next verse, which is verse number 33. Atah chettvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsasi. Now, atachet, in case, if, tvam, you, in this dharmam sangramam, which is in this righteous war, righteous battle, na karishyasi, do not want to act or do not want to engage yourself. In case if you decide not to engage in this dharma yuddha, then tatah swadharmam kirtim cha, swadharmam and kirtim. Kirtim is fame. Hitwa is you will lose, or you just neglected, or you just dropped, you lost the opportunity, right? So you will lose. He didn't say you lost, you will lose your fame, as well as you will become adharmic, you will stray away from the path of dharma. Besides, you will incur sin as well. So now he's talking everything from the perspective of bodily existence on this earth. A person who is living on this earth and he is going about doing duties, when he will lose the swadharmam, when he will stray away from the path of dharma, and when he will lose his fame, he will incur infamy. and also he will incur sin. When? When you decide not to engage in this righteous war that you have. The righteous war for Arjuna is that the righteous war for us, audience, right? We all, is this life. In this life, where does the war happens? Have you thought about that? The entire Bhagavad Gita, the it's all about, people say that it is all about war, right? And it's encouraging Arjuna to go and do that war. It's about war scenario. Now, what is the war scenario in our situation? Well, we know that everyday life itself is a war, right? In this physical world, it is a war. Everywhere. Within ourselves, it is a war. Sometimes war between right and wrong, right versus wrong. Always we have to choose between these two. We take decisions every day, every moment, every minute. We take decisions. When we take decisions, what do? This we analyze it. We choose one, and we don't know whether that is right or wrong. So right versus wrong is what we use to pick a decision, right? And when we are doing that, what we evaluate, what we think as right and what we think as wrong itself, if you looked at it, is that really right? Let's say there are four options and we choose one option out of it. Every moment, if you look at it, that life is all about decisions, right? Starting from the morning all the way up to throughout the day, we keep making decisions. So in that decisions, it's been influenced by various aspects, whether we are hungry or whether we like it, we don't like it. That will influence a lot. Whether we are in a good mood or not in a good mood will influence our options. If you are really in a hungry, state, and you go to Amazon, you open your web browser, Amazon, and you start looking for things, we will start buying sometimes, right? Or if you are really hungry, you will not even buy, even if there is an essential thing. It depends on who you are, right? But normally we will not do that. Whether buying or not buying, we will not do that, but we are being influenced, right? So always we have been making decisions. We don't know whether it is right or not, but what is right and what is wrong, always we will have to use our mind to decide it. Am I taking the decision right? And for that, conscious mind should be active. Subconscious mind is what we active most of the times for all of us. We don't even realize that how I took the decision. I don't know why I ordered this. I yesterday I did an impulse purchase. We just say about all those things, right? What is that impulsive purchase? Impulsive buy in Amazon, right? Subconscious has decided that it wanted it and bought. And then later on, thinking about it, conscious mind became active and we started to think, why did I do it? Why did I buy it? Then we tag ourselves as impulsive purchase. It's not impulsive purchase, but I was not in my conscious state, right? Conscious state, if we make a decisions, then right versus wrong, then internally there is a war. For example, you wanted to really buy it, but consciously you have decided not to overspend. So now there is a war. One time you say that you wanted to buy it, another mind says that do not buy it. You have a resolve. You took a new year resolution that do not overspend. Now what is happening inside is a real war. It all starts with us, and then we also go on a war with everyone outside of us, right? Not literally a war, but we pick up whether others, what they have done is right or not, what I have done is right or not, and we go around doing that. So there is a war that exists every day around us, right? That is the war we should relate this shloka to, right? There is no real war that is happening to us, for all of us. Whatever the message is here is true with any war situation. We all go through that kind of a war, right? So atachettvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. If you are not doing or engaging yourself in this righteous war, if we decide not to do that, consciously take effort to resolve or participate in that war. A few people will say that I don't want to even do that, I don't want to even go there because I don't like it. That is like abstaining ourselves from it, right? Because I'm lazy to make a decision. Some people, if you have observed, go to a restaurant, they'll say that I don't want to make any choice, you choose for me, I will eat whatever that you order, right? So those are all like not, we are poor decision makers. We should improve that decision. I will have to own the decision. I accept responsibility for whatever may be the outcome. That is engaging in the war, right? Otherwise, I'm not going to decide, let others decide. That is one more approach. We will let husband or wife make the decision on our behalf, right? Either of the spouse will make the decision, because some things go bad or wrong, we always have someone as our scapegoat. So that is also escapism, right? So those are the things like abstaining. So if you stay away, then both your swadharmam and swadharmam is your individual dharma, we are falling from it, and also you are falling from your position, fame. Kirti means fame, and also we will incur sins, right? To us in this world, sins are nothing but our accumulated thoughts, the guilt feeling or whatever that we have done before, that will haunt us. So throughout this life, in that life probably papam will have a different effect, going to the hell or anything else, right? But in this world we are still are living, that's going to haunt us. So all those things will happen if you run away from your righteous war, is the meaning of this shloka. And we also took our lessons from this verse. Now let's move on to the next verse. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtim maranadatirichyate. Now he says akirtim. Akirtim is infamy, that we have fallen, disgrace, right? Akirtim cha api bhutani kathayishyati kathayishyanti. People will talk. Bhutani is not just people, but every living being will talk. Te avyayam, about your infamy. People will talk avyayam endlessly. They will keep on talking about your infamy. Sambhavitasya cha kirtim. Sambhavitasya, for a person of repute, for a person like you, Arjuna, of repute, that akirtim, people talking about your akirti, your infamy, your disgrace, is worse than death. Why do you want to have it? Why do you want to get to that situation? Is what now Krishna is asking Arjuna. Because in the previous shloka, Krishna said dharmam and kirti, both you will stray away from it if you don't participate in the war. Dharmam, because you are slipping from your duty by not participating in it. For a warrior, you will have to engage in a war. You will fight your enemies and protect the people. Since you didn't do it, you will fall from the position and you will stray away from the duty. Now Arjuna is asking Krishna, that I understand, But how will akirti or infamy will happen to me? Because I may be falling from not doing my duty, but how will akirti? Now Krishna says here that, oh, akirti will happen to you because people are going to talk so bad about your reputation. Kirti can also mean reputation, right? He has built over a period of time. Arjuna was very well known. During our Mahabharata days, we saw how much disciplined he was. He trained during the night time. Drona himself has blessed him to be one of the greatest warriors. He was unparalleled. Swayamvara, he won Draupadi's hand by doing the impossible feat of shooting an arrow all the way, which none of the other warriors were able to do. All those will go for nothing if you just not engage in this war. Now, we all will ask this question, how can we relate to this, right? For us, fame is really needed. And what happens if people talk about my infamy? There is nothing lost. I mean, if we ask some people who are engaged in the path of spirituality, they will say that let people talk anything about me, I'm not bothered. They will be internally bothered though. If you frankly ask me, everyone is bothered, right? But we pretend ourselves to be, we are spiritually evolved, and we might say that I'm above all this. I'm not bothered by people when they talk about me. But every now and then we will be interested or worried that what if they say this, right? Every one of us who live in this world is bound to be in that rule. We are worried about all said and done. Practicality, we are living in a society, right? Others' eyes are on us, and especially if we are a well-known, well-reputed, and in a good position. That position deserves some respect and expectation. Now, Krishna is trying to say that don't worry about Atma, don't worry about spirituality, Arjuna. Just stay on the realm of this world. Let's talk you as an individual with just this body and you exist in this world. What do you want? What is that the best thing that can happen to you? Reputation. Reputation is the best thing, right? And for any individual. And Arjuna had worked so hard to get to that level, that reputation. Now he had reached to that level of reputation. What will happen? What is the worst that can happen? You are disgraced and you fall from that reputation. That is the worst thing that can happen. So now that is what Krishna is saying, that you will fall from it. And how that will happen, Arjuna? People will keep on talking about your akirti. They will disgrace you indefinitely, endlessly. They will keep talking about it. And slowly, when people talk about you, your reputation will slowly degrade. Now, why that is important to us on this earth? Yes, it is important. On this earth, if one wants to be successful, because now Arjuna's thing is he wanted to be a successful warrior, and every one of us on this earth we are living, right? We wanted to be known, we wanted to do something useful. It can be even social service also, right? I'm just reducing all. We haven't evolved. We are not, many of us are not evolved that I will just do social service. How many of us are there, right? We are all living with not that kind of mindset yet. Even if a person who is living in the social service, he or she will get their own reputation built. And it is not good for them, even if you are engaged in such a social service, to lose your reputation. Right, on this earth especially. And as far as this worldly earth is concerned, reputation does matter. When you are speaking about Atma, may not be, it is not at all, it's irrelevant. because it is just matter of few people, few days they are going to talk, that is okay. But on this earth, if you are talking as an individual who is living on this earth with this physical body, it is very essential that you have a reputation built. Building a reputation is also important. So as per Krishna, what we learn is, when we are born on this earth, let's say a person who is not even worried about Atma or spiritual path or any such thing, we are not even going there. As an individual, if we wanted to live on this earth, as per this shloka, kirti is very important, which means reputation is very important. At what level, that is different. For example, I am reputed for doing a work or helping somebody, and I build some reputation. Everybody goes to me for an help, let's say anything it can be, maybe donations or for education or for, then I have built, it is essential that I build and maintain that reputation. At any point of time I should not slip from that. And how will it slip? Now Arjuna will ask, Arjuna is asking another question, how will it slip? Now, as an individual, we all have a responsibility to build that reputation, not for the sake of building a reputation, but as part of engaging and doing our duty. Eventually that reputation is an outcome of it. And everyone should aim. There is a saying in Tamil, தோன்றிற் புகழொடு தோன்றுக அஃதிலார் தோன்றுதல் தோன்றாமை நன்று. That means that if you are born on this earth, better be known or be reputed with reputation. If not, it is better not be born at all. And this was written by a great wise grandma called Avvayar, who lived 800 years ago in Tamil Nadu. And she says that when you are born on this earth, material earth, reputation is very important. And how will that reputation go down is by doing a thing. Once it is built, let's say, two ways that reputation can go down for any one of us. One, by doing a thing that should not be done to that level or that position or that status or whatever you are in that, right? The position is in terms of responsibilities, what I meant, not in terms of social status. When I am a doctor, I should not do some things I should not do. If I involve in doing that, then obviously I incur disrepute to myself. That is one way of bringing down my reputation. As a doctor, I am doing a thing which I am supposed not to do. As a teacher, I am not supposed to do few things, but I am doing. Meaning, involving or indulging in practices that are against the policies of that occupation. Right? That is what is doing a thing that is not supposed to be done. Against the law or against morality, because few times maybe law may not be there, but internally we know that it is not moral, but still we will involve. If we involve in that, that is also not right. It may not be illegal. Thinking about some random things is, it's not against law, but that those thoughts that we put in our mind may not be right. No one is there to inspect what thoughts everyone holds in a mind, but that is also not right. That is what now we will bring down our reputation by entertaining or doing some things that are prohibited. And another way to bring down the reputation is to not do few things that are expected of that profession. A doctor or a lawyer or a plumber or anybody in their profession is expected to do few things. If that person says that I'm not going to do it, then also the reputation will go down. Now Krishna in this says that your kirti will go down, and because people are going to talk about it. Then Arjuna asked, why are they going to talk? What did I do wrong? Because you are neglecting your duty. What is supposed to, you're supposed to do it, but you are not doing it. You're running away, right? So that is going to bring you down. And what the point that we are getting is, For our duty, what needs to be done, we should always remember to do it. What should not be done, we should stay away from it as much as we can, to make sure that the reputation that we have earned, everyone has got their own reputation, right? It need not be to the sky level. Whatever reputation that we have built is what we are talking here, right? And we cannot say that, what if, let them talk. The thing is, others talking is one, but there are many others who are looking at us as heroes, or people who they can emulate, follow. If this talk goes on, then we are being reduced to a level where people who follow us will also just think that what kind of person I am following, right? So that is the reason that we should make sure not to involve in disreputing ourselves, is the lesson that we learn from that verse. Moving on to the next verse. भयाद्रणादुपरतं मन्स्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्. This is exactly the point that I mentioned last. So people who have been holding you in very high esteem, when you run away, bhayad, out of fear, bhayad, ranad, from this battlefield, uparatham, you just elope, you run away, you go away from this battlefield. Mansyante, they will think. Mansyante, mana is to think, right? Mind. Mansyante is they will think. Tvam, about you. Maharathaha, esham chatvam bahumato, those who are having you high in their heart, those who are having a very high opinion about you in their heart, they will, they will just start to look at you as, they will slight you, they will belittle you, they will just disparage you, like what type of person he is, which you are not. Especially when you are not, why do you let them think that you are a little person when you are especially not such a little person, right? So people, why should we worry about it, right? Why should we worry about it is very important for all of us, right? We are a personality, let's say, right? We have some likes, we have some dislikes, and we have some personality that we expose to this outside world. That is how people look at us. And what do we want? If you ask everyone, they will say that I should be understood the same way that I think about myself, right? I think that I'm good, I'm doing this, I'm brave. We don't want to give a message to others, an incorrect message about ourselves. Why and what, how do I, why should I worry about it? If they form some incorrect message, should I worry about it? We don't have to, as long as if that is right. Let's say, for example, I don't know how to ride a bike, for example, right? I don't know how to ride a bike. I'm an old, I'm this old, I haven't learned yet how to ride a bike. And others are thinking bad about that. Oh, this person, he doesn't even know how to ride a bike. Should I worry about that? No, because that is the truth. But if I am thinking that if I wanted to pass on a message to others that I love everyone, and they think that you are not, I wanted to pass out a message that I am approachable. You can ask me anything, you can discuss anything with me, to my workers or to my friends or any people around me. But if others are just thinking that he is not approachable, then I should worry about it. I cannot just let him go that I am approachable. If you think that I am not approachable, I don't care. Then, that doesn't make sense, right? I wanted to pass on the same message, and others should get that exact idea, that is when our existence will make sense, and that is when we have lived our life 100%, right? When we are, our thoughts, our beliefs, our opinions should be understood, it need not be accepted. For example, I have an opinion about a few things, whether schools should be reopened or not. I have an opinion about it, and it doesn't have to be accepted by others, but others should know what I think, yes or no. Let's say I'm thinking that yes, school should be reopened, and others are thinking that Partha is assuming that school should not be reopened, then I should worry about it, because they will start spreading the message, that I incorrect message. That incorrect message is not right, and that is not going to make me happy, because others will get a wrong message that's going to haunt me later. That is what here he says, that others will talk about you, and if they are going to, what they are going to think is you ran away. Bhayadrana duparatam. You ran away out of fear, which is not right. Arjuna, I know you very well. You are not such a person at all. You are a brave one. That's why he is using Maharathaha. So he said, here you could have easily used Bharata or Arjuna. He didn't use such words. Krishna uses here Bhayadranaduparatam mansyante. Hey Maharatha. Maharatha means we already talked about it, right? 10,000, 14,000 warriors, uh, around 65,000 elephants, all those things they will be able to handle single-handedly. That is a Maharatha. So many enemies one person can handle is called Maharatha, right? Now you are a Maharatha, and they are going to assume that you are running away from this war out of fear, which is incorrect, and you cannot let that happen, is what Krishna's worry is. So when we should worry about others' opinion matters, if others are having definitely incorrect idea about us, which we think that it's not correct, then it is our responsibility to make sure that either we fix ourselves, or we fix their opinion about us in order to exist in this world successfully. That is very essential. I don't care, you don't care, then later on it's going to haunt, right? In this world, that is the law, that is the rule. Right, that's what he's putting now here. Let's see the next verse. अवाच्यवादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिताः निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम्. Avachyavadancha, they are going to use harsh words. Using harsh words, they are going to, many are going to talk about it. Talk about your enemies, especially. This time it's not the people who have respect in you and they have not understood you. In the previous verse, it was people who knew about you, they are going to think that you ran away. But in this shloka, clearly he says that tavahita, your enemies. Now, let's see how your enemies are going to think about you. All this time, general people who saw you as a leader, who saw you, who looked up to you as their hero, they were having high opinion about you. They are going to feel like you have let them down, right? But now, what are your enemies going to say, Arjuna? They are going to use very harsh words that you won't be able to even bear through your ears. You won't be able to live after listening to those words. Such harsh words they are going to use, because Duryodhana, Duchasana, Karna, they are not going to take it that easily. They are going to laugh, they are going to use severe words to belittle you. Nindantastava samarthyam. Samarthyam is a word, might, right? Your prowess. And they are going to talk ill about it. They are going to disrepute your might by using very harsh words. And what could be worse? Oh, what could be worse? That is so sad that it happens, if it happens. So Krishna says that if you let your enemies talk so bad about you, those words, because enemies anyway are going to talk about you, they are not going to not talk about you. But if they are stronger, let's say if Duryodhana or Duchasana talks bad about Arjuna, that is okay because they are equals. People who don't even have or cannot even stand in front of you, people who don't even have any reputation, soldiers who are just standing there, sepoys, they will talk about it. They don't even are eligible to talk your infamy, but they will talk about it, which you shouldn't definitely let that happen, because that is the worst state for a truly accomplished, reputed person. That is what Krishna here says. Now, that is what we also should remember, that we may or may not have enemies, right? Based on the profession that we have and our lifestyle, we may or may not definitely have enemies, and but that doesn't mean that we should let everyone talk ill about others. And it is not just others saying ill about us, but we have, the point that Krishna is trying to make here is not about others saying few words. The point here is you should not, as an individual, degrade yourself to a level where you are susceptible now to let others who are not even having any standing at all to hurl words at you. That is not befitting you. So do not do an act, or do not escape from this act. If you do so, you are bringing yourself so low that you are attracting people to say wrong words. So here in this verse, we can also argue that way. Krishna is not interested in others saying something or others not saying something. And always people can ask, like, why should we worry about it, right? Of course, yes, we should not worry about others, but it is also important that I should not degrade myself, right? To let others say few words. If I stay here and still others talk, no one is going to worry about it. We can say that, okay, people always talk, let them talk. But I reduce myself and I say that people let them talk, I don't care, then that is like not right, Arjuna. That is what the point that here Krishna is trying to make. That is what we all should remember as well, right? So it doesn't mean that, if you're working for an organization, then we should not have build some kind of ideas like that. Okay, I am in this, so I should. It is applicable to uniformly, starting from ourselves. First, we should respect ourselves. If we do an act that we ourselves are afraid or scared to look ourselves in front of the mirror, let's say, then the first person itself has started degrading ourselves, right? So that should not happen. And then people within our home, right? A husband or wife or children or father or mother or grandfather, we are here and they are holding us here, and we have brought ourselves down. That means that now we cannot say that, why are you looking at me like I am a low, because we ourselves are brought down low. They will look at us now, why is it, what happened to you? Many of the times people will ask, what happened to you? You are doing very well, now you degraded yourself so much, right? So that we should not let that happen at home or to ourselves first, at home or in the society or in our friend circle or among the in the organization we are working, or anywhere voluntary organization, anywhere we are working, our reputation should not go down. and we should not behave in a way that our reputation goes down, is the point, underlying point that Krishna is trying to make. And yeah, that is what he says here. With that, we come to the end of this week's session. In the rest of the sessions we will continue next week.